London, a city that pulsates with life, a metropolis that never sleeps, where the hustle and bustle of daily life is a constant symphony of activity. It stands as a global hub for culture and opportunity, drawing people from all corners of the world to its vibrant streets. Yet beneath its dazzling exterior, a different story is unfolding, one that is often hidden in the shadows of its iconic landmarks. A story of families packing up their lives and leaving the city they once called home, driven by forces beyond their control. This is the tale of London's exodus, a trend seeing over 75,000 homeowners fleeing the capital in 2024. But what's driving this mass migration? What is causing so many to abandon the city they once cherished? The answer is a complex tapestry woven from soaring living costs, stagnant wages, and a desperate search for affordable housing. London's property market demands eye-watering sums for even the smallest of spaces, leaving many to wonder if the dream of homeownership is just that, a dream. Now, with interest rates climbing higher than St. Paul's Cathedral, owning a home in the city is becoming an impossible dream for many. This exodus isn't just about numbers, it's about real people making heart-wrenching decisions, torn between their love for the city and financial realities. Families forced to choose between their beloved city and a life they can actually afford, a choice that no one should have to make. Young couples abandoning their dreams of putting down roots in the capital, their hopes dashed by the relentless rise in living costs. London's story is becoming a tale of two cities, one for the haves and one for the have-nots, a stark division that grows more pronounced with each passing year. Yet amidst this division, there are glimmers of hope. Communities are coming together, supporting one another in ways that transcend financial constraints. Volunteers at food banks, neighbours sharing resources, and grassroots movements striving to make a difference all paint a picture of resilience and solidarity. As London continues to evolve, its true strength lies in its people, their ability to adapt, to support one another, and to find hope even in the most challenging of times. For those who leave, new beginnings await, and for those who stay, the fight for a more equitable city continues. This is the tale of two cities, a story still being written. Living in London has always come with a hefty price tag. The allure of the capital, with its rich history, vibrant culture, and endless opportunities, has always drawn people from all corners of the globe. But in recent years, that price has become utterly extortionate. The dream of owning a home in this bustling metropolis is becoming increasingly unattainable for the average person. The average house price in the capital now hovers around a staggering £700,000. This sharp increase over the past decade has left many potential homeowners feeling hopeless. For many, even scraping together a deposit for a tiny flat seems like an insurmountable challenge. The financial strain is palpable, with young couples and families feeling the pinch more than ever. Then there's the cost of actually living in this concrete jungle. The daily expenses of life in London add up quickly, making it one of the most expensive cities in the world. From extortionate rents to the daily grind of commuting, Londoners are constantly bombarded with expenses. The stress of making ends meet is a constant companion for many. Families are being priced out of their communities, forced to wave goodbye to the parks, schools, and support networks they rely on. The sense of community that once defined London neighbourhoods is eroding. For many Londoners, the city that once held so much promise now feels like an exclusive club they can no longer afford to join. The price of paradise has become too high, leaving many to wonder if it's worth the cost. Imagine swapping your cramped flat for a house with a garden. Imagine being able to swing a cat, not that you would, of course, without taking out a shelf. Imagine having a spare room for guests that isn't just an air mattress on the floor. For many Londoners, this isn't a fantasy. It's the driving force behind their decision to leave the capital. In London, space is the ultimate luxury. Families are crammed into flats smaller than a postage stamp. Gardens are the stuff of fairy tales. And don't even get me started on storage. Is it any wonder that people are yearning for a bit of breathing room? Outside of London, the possibilities seem endless. Homes are larger, gardens are a given, and you can actually park your car without needing a degree in Tetris. For families desperate for space to grow, the lure of the suburbs can be irresistible. The chance to give their children a garden to play in, a dog to run around with, a life less ordinary. It's a powerful motivator. The dream of a more relaxed, spacious lifestyle is calling many away from the city, and for those who answer, the rewards can be life-changing. For young people in London, the dream of owning a home feels about as attainable as winning the lottery. Saddled with student debt and facing a relentless rental market, saving for a deposit is like trying to climb Mount Everest with a teaspoon. The average rent in London now gobbles up a whopping 60% of a single person's salary, and that's before you've even thought about bills, food, or the occasional night out. It's no wonder that many young Londoners are stuck in a perpetual cycle of renting, their dreams of homeownership fading with each passing year. This housing crisis is having a profound impact on the lives of young Londoners. It's delaying life milestones like getting married, having children, and putting down roots. It's forcing people to choose between living in a city they love and building a secure future. And it's creating a generation trapped in a cycle of renting, their dreams held hostage by a broken housing market. The struggle is real, and the future remains uncertain for Generation Rent. Bank of Mum and Dad, a lifeline or a legacy? Let's face it, getting on the property ladder in today's market often requires a helping hand. And for many first-time buyers, that help comes from the Bank of Mum and Dad. Parents dipping into their savings, grandparents lending a hand. The Bank of Mum and Dad has become a major player in the housing market. But while this financial assistance can be a lifeline for some, it also highlights the deep-seated inequality at the heart of the housing crisis. Those lucky enough to have family with deep pockets are given a significant leg up, while those without are left to fend for themselves. This reliance on family wealth is creating a two-tier system where home ownership is increasingly determined by who you know, not how hard you work. It's a system that entrenches existing inequalities and leaves an entire generation at the mercy of a housing market rigged against them. The question remains, is this financial support a lifeline for the fortunate few or a legacy that perpetuates inequality for the many? Escape to the countryside. A new life beckons. Close your eyes and picture this: rolling hills, quaint villages, the sound of birdsong instead of sirens. For many Londoners, the lure of the countryside is proving irresistible. Tired of the city's relentless pace and sky-high living costs, they're packing their bags and heading for greener pastures. And who can blame them? The countryside offers a tantalizing glimpse of a different way of life. Homes with gardens, friendly communities, and a pace of life that's a little less frantic. It's a chance to escape the concrete jungle and reconnect with nature. This exodus from city to countryside is transforming rural communities. Villages are being revitalized by an influx of new residents, bringing with them fresh perspectives and much-needed investment. But this shift also brings challenges, as demand for housing in these idyllic locations begins to outstrip supply, pushing up prices and creating a new set of housing headaches. Local councils are grappling with the need to balance growth and preservation. The landscape is changing, and with it, the very essence of rural life. Yet, for those making the move, the promise of a new life beckons, filled with hope and opportunity. Commuter belt boom. The ripple effect. The mass exodus from London isn't just impacting the countryside, it's also having a ripple effect on the commuter belt. Towns and villages within a reasonable commute of the capital are experiencing a surge in popularity as Londoners seek the best of both worlds, affordable living and access to the city's opportunities. Places like St Albans, Guildford and Sevenoaks are becoming increasingly attractive to those priced out of the London market. They offer a balance of town and country living with good schools, decent transport links, and a slightly more relaxed pace of life. This influx of Londoners is having a profound impact on these commuter towns. House prices are soaring, local businesses are booming, and a new energy is palpable. The influx is not just changing the economic landscape, but also the social fabric of these areas. But this rapid change also brings challenges. The sudden growth is putting a strain on local resources. Local infrastructure is struggling to keep pace with the influx of new residents, and some worry that these once peaceful towns are losing their unique identity. The balance between growth and maintaining the character of these towns is a delicate one. As these towns evolve, the challenge will be to manage this growth sustainably, ensuring that the benefits are shared by all residents, old and new alike. London's changing landscape. A city transformed? As thousands of homeowners abandon ship, London is undergoing a period of profound change. The city's demographic is shifting, its communities are being reshaped, and the very fabric of London life is being called into question. But what will this exodus mean for the future of the capital? Some argue that this mass departure is a much-needed correction, a chance for London to reset and become more affordable for ordinary people. They envision a city where key workers, young families, and creatives can actually afford to live and thrive. Others fear that London is becoming a playground for the super-rich, a city hollowed out by its own success. They worry that the exodus of families and young professionals will erode the city's vibrancy and diversity, leaving behind a sterile and soulless shell. Only time will tell what the long-term consequences of London's exodus will be. But one thing's for sure, the city is at a crossroads, and the choices made in the coming years will determine its fate for generations to come. As London navigates this transformative period, the resilience and adaptability of its people will be put to the test. The future of London lies in the hands of its residents, who must decide whether to embrace change or resist it. In the end, the story of London will be written by those who choose to stay and shape its destiny. Can London adapt? The future of affordable living. The exodus of homeowners from London has exposed a stark reality. The city is facing an unprecedented affordability crisis, but amidst the challenges, there's also a flicker of hope. Because this crisis has ignited a conversation, a collective realization that something needs to change. Across the capital, innovative solutions are being explored. From co-living spaces and microflats to community land trusts and rent-to-own schemes, people are thinking outside the box to create more affordable housing options. The government has a crucial role to play in tackling this crisis. Investing in social housing, providing more support for first-time buyers, and implementing stricter regulations on the private rental sector are just some of the steps that could help to ease the pressure. The future of London hangs in the balance. Can the city adapt and evolve to become a place where everyone, regardless of income, can afford to live? Or will it continue down a path of exclusivity, a city for the few, not the many? The answer lies in the collective efforts of the community, the government, and innovative thinkers. Sustainable and eco-friendly developments are also part of the solution, ensuring that new housing is not only affordable, but also environmentally responsible. Ultimately, the goal is to create a London where everyone can thrive, a city that is inclusive and supportive of all its residents. A nation divided, the housing crisis beyond the capital. While London's housing crisis might grab the headlines, it's important to remember that this is a national issue. The housing crisis extends far beyond the capital, affecting every corner of the United Kingdom. From the bustling cities of Manchester and Birmingham, where the demand for housing continues to outstrip supply, to the picturesque coastal towns of Cornwall and Devon, where locals are being priced out by second home buyers and holiday rentals, the struggle to find affordable housing is playing out across the country. Families and young couples alike are finding it increasingly difficult to secure a place they can call home. Young people are being priced out of their hometowns, forced to move away from their support networks and communities in search of affordable living. Families are forced to make impossible choices, often having to decide between paying exorbitant rents or moving to less desirable areas with fewer opportunities. The dream of owning a home feels increasingly out of reach for millions. The frustration is palpable as people face the reality of a housing market that seems to work against them. This isn't just a London problem, it's a national crisis that demands a national solution. Every region, every city, and every town is feeling the pressure. The government needs to take urgent action to address the root causes of this crisis. Building more affordable homes is a crucial step, but it's not the only one. Tackling the issue of land banking, where developers hold on to land without building on it, is essential to freeing up space for new homes. Reforming the private rental sector to ensure fairer rents and better conditions for tenants is another critical measure that needs to be taken. The housing crisis is dividing our nation, creating stark contrasts between affluent areas and those struggling to keep up. This division is creating a chasm between those who can afford a place to call home and those who are left behind, unable to break into the housing market. The impact is severe, with homelessness on the rise and families being displaced from their communities. It's time for a national conversation, one that includes voices from all affected areas and demographics. A collective effort to find solutions is necessary. This means involving local councils, community groups, and the private sector in a coordinated approach. We must ensure that everyone has the opportunity to live in a safe, secure, and affordable home. Only through unity and decisive action can we hope to resolve this crisis and build a fairer future for all.